On May 30th, 1988, Janez Jansa and Igor Omerza left Munich, where they had been on business. They arrived in a slightly rainy Ljubljana around 11 p.m. and fell straight into bed. While Janez and Igor were fast asleep, in the dead of night on May 31st, 1988, the fifth secret Udba investigation was carried out at the Mikro Ada company. Its purpose was to confirm whether a copy of the military document was still in Janez Jansa's desk drawer. The 5 secret police agents were able to report to their bosses with satisfaction that the key document for the prosecution of Janez Jansa was still in its place. The stage was now set and ready for the important days ahead. Days that would shake Slovenia to its core. On Tuesday, May 31st, 1988, shortly after 6 in the morning, someone rang the doorbell of Omerza's apartment at 28 Miklosicheva Street in Ljubljana, loudly and nervously. A few minutes earlier, the sharp sound of the doorbell at 44 Gornji Trg had awakened Janez Jansa. An hour and a half later, the military secret service launched an investigation against Lieutenant Ivan Borštna on suspicion of misappropriating a military document. As Omerza stumbled through the long hallway, still half asleep, he couldn't figure out who would be at his door so early in the morning. He was even more surprised when he unlocked the door and saw his colleague from the youth organization, Drago Isailovic, with whom he had had no contact for several years. Drago shyly informed him that the Mikro Ada company premises were going to be searched, and that, as the company director, he had to be present. His brain immediately started working at full speed. He quickly got dressed and, without saying a word, he and Drago left the house, where a car with 3 secret police officers was already waiting. And in the morning light, they drove to the crime scene. When they arrived, a crowd of people was already standing in front of the entrance to Mikro Ada, surrounding Janez Jansa. The investigators were a mixed group. Some were from the public police and some from the secret police. Public police officer Zvonko Hrasta approached Omerza and told him that they would be searching the premises, asking, "Are you aware that there is a secret military document on the premises of Mikro Ada?" He replied that he did not know, and Janez Janša, who was asked the same question, gave the same answer, and the search began. It was clear that the investigators were very familiar with the interior of the company. They soon found what they were looking for in Janez's desk. They collected a pile of other papers, and as noon approached, the undisputed leader of the parade, Udba agent Miran Fruman, said dryly,
"Janša and Omerza, let's go to the station for questioning."
While the 2 men, surrounded by Udba agents, crossed the courtyard to 2 cars, someone in the neighboring building was eagerly taking pictures. It was photographer Tomi Stojko, who happened to be at Mikro Ada at the time. The investigators checked Stojko's ID and then released him. He sensed that he could add another picture to his rich photographic collection, so he hid on the 4th floor of a nearby house and waited for the investigators, Janez and Igor, to step out of Mikro Ada into the courtyard. This is how the famous and historic photos were taken. Anyway, Janez and Igor were separated right away and taken to the Ljubljana police headquarters in 2 different cars around noon. The interview with Igor Omerza was actually an interrogation. The Udba interrogators took turns and did not give him a chance to breathe. First, they were interested in what he knew about the 2 pages of a military document that had been found. He firmly stated that he had never seen these pages. This was, of course, a blatant lie, as he was present in mid-March 1988, when Franci Zavrl, editor of Mladina, handed it over to Jansa at Mikro Ada. They also pressed him with other questions, but he had the feeling that they were not very interested in his answers, as if they were waiting for some order on what to do with him. As it was already afternoon, he was of course thinking mainly about when they would let him go. At one point, as if they had had enough of him, they took him to a large room and left him alone for the first time. 5 minutes later, the door opened and Drago Isailovich told him he could go. He stepped out into the warm May afternoon and, exhausted and torn apart, went to the nearby Mikro Ada office. There, surrounded by friends, he pondered what they could do to get Janez released. Janša was officially arrested on May 31st at 5:30 in the afternoon. 20 minutes before 7, he was brought to the detention facility. The next day, he was handed over to military interrogators. Janša was locked up, while outside, things were heating up. The JBTZ mega scandal erupted, named after those directly involved: Janša, Borshna, Tasic, and Zaval. These arrests gave rise to the largest post-war civil movement, which operated under the name Committee for the Protection of Human Rights, popularly known as Bavchar's Committee. It had 200,000 members. You can read about what the Udba wrote about Janez Janša before, during, and after this in the book Janez Janša, Kapla.